Leon Bailey, Jamaica Football Federation, Aston Villa. Please like, share and subscribe. Please like, share and subscribe. Big up all the subscribers and everybody who's joined the channel. It's really growing, so I really appreciate it. Yeah, big up the person who I'm going to talk about today, a gentleman called Leon Bailey, who is a football player, and he recently had an interview done by, I think the gentleman's called Jay Fries or something, on a podcast called Let's Be Honest, and he was just talking about a lot of things, including his time at Aston Villa, his time playing for the Jamaican Football Federation. As you can see in these pictures, he's capped for Jamaica, and he had a few things to say. So yeah, let's get into it. So he started off by saying that he thinks that his most recent season, this season, it's been his best season in terms of contribution. He said he scored more than one goal in one season and before he went to Aston Villa, and then he said that this season is best season in terms of contribution of goals. He said he thinks he's just really kind of got his foot on the ground in this season, and he said the coach has come in and done a lot of different things, and he said that he has had some previous issues with previous coaches, that things weren't quite clicking. But I think what he's saying is that when the new coach has come in for Aston Villa this season, that things have turned around for him, and it's helped him to get to where he is today. And he's talked about players that he's played with. But this, as I say, this is going to be quite a quick one. We're just going to get through as much as possible in this interview. The main not interview rather. Review of the interview. Obviously, the main focus of this is his comments on playing for the Jamaican Federation football team, and I'm really interested to know, get some comments from you, the watchers and the listeners and the subscribers, as to what you think about what he said. People, especially who follow Jamaican football, the Jamaican football team. Obviously, we know about the original sort of reggae boys from 1998 and made their way to the World Cup in 1998. And a lot of people have been following Jamaica from that point and before as well. But he's had some comments to say recently about, how he feels the team has, kind of treated them, the Federation has treated them. As I say, as usual, everything is allegedly. Obviously, would be also good to get the Jamaican Federation point of view. Obviously, this is just him expressing his opinion. But what he said is, in terms of where he plays, he said normally play in the same position. He can play anywhere. He can play in front like a striker. He can play on the left wing. He can play on the right wing. So he's essentially like a kind of midfield utility player to some extent, where he's anywhere around that range, but he can also play striker. He said he's never doubted his ability, and anytime he's gotten the opportunity to showcase, he's always done so. And he also had played a game against Manchester City. As you know, I think Manchester City did the treble recently, which is, I think, the Champions League, Premier League, and what's the other one? Champions League, Premier League. I think there's probably FA Cup or something along those lines. I can't remember completely. But he's won a game with Aston Villa against Manchester City. And in terms of himself, just him talking about his history, he said from the age of sort of 12 years old, he'd won everything there was to win in competitions in Jamaica. And then at 18, he said that he started his professional career. He's represented the national team, and he's always, from different ages, 12, 13, 14, 15, was always been seen as a sort of after young football player, even in Europe. If you see some of those pictures, actually, I think he's played in Germany as well, and I think he's played in Belgium as well, based on my rudimentary research, so to speak. But yeah, as I say, he's gotten into the national team, and I think he's also played for under 23s there as well. Now, I think his general view, just an overview of what he was kind of saying, he just kind of feels that Jamaica, the Jamaican Federation needs to develop or improve the way in which it treats players. Particularly for him, it seems that he's saying that his experience as a professional is probably of quite a high standard. And, I think he said the one thing that he wants when he goes or plays for Jamaica is, I think, just somewhere to stay, and also somebody to book a ticket for him to go to whatever match it is. And he seemed to be saying that he was having, with the Jamaican team, some difficulty with that regard. And unfortunately, it's resulted in him stepping back from playing for the Jamaican football team. And as I say, look, as a professional, he's basically at the top of his game, playing for a Premiership team. And it's a shame, I would say, just a general perspective. It seems it's a shame that he's, because of how he feels that he's been treated at the Jamaican level, the national level, that he's not playing for them. And I'm sure that if he was playing for them, Jamaica would be doing much better. I'm going to look into what Jamaica is doing in a second later on in this little review here. But yeah, that's essentially saying that he's not getting flights. He's having to book stuff himself. And he actually said in this interview that he feels that, for things to change, that the people who are in the federation at the moment, he used the phrase, those upstairs essentially need to be removed, or there won't be any changes for the next decade to come. So he thinks that that's something that really needs to happen. And as I say, from my perspective, it'd be interesting to get you lot's comments and views on that. Do you think he's right? Do you think, let's look at it in two parts. Do you think that he should, appreciate, obviously Jamaica is a developing nation, maybe obviously he's got the benefit of the money from the Premiership or whatever it is, maybe he should just go, maybe fund stuff himself and get on with it. Now, I'm not saying that's the right thing that should happen, but that might be considered that might be considered where he's kind of coming from. Or do you think, Jamaica Federation, they need to, we're in 2024 now, they need to step things up and treat all players better. Now, I should say, this is all allegedly. As I said, I don't have the Jamaican Federation's point of view, so I don't know whether they're going to agree with what he's saying. Maybe you people listening will agree or won't agree, but it's just interesting to get these viewpoints. I mean, as I say, Reggae Boys to now, so that's what 1998, that's a long period of time, 26 years. Yeah, it's 26 years essentially, isn't it? Yeah, it's 26 years. I don't know, has Jamaica even gone to another World Cup in that time? I'm going to say, I know that, I think there's CARICOM Cups and that sort of thing. I'm just going to do some research into that. But yeah, let me have your thoughts and comments. And for now, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Big up Leon Bailey, big up Jamaican Federation. Look, it'd be interesting to see. I think in life there's always scope for improvement in every area. So let's see what happens next. Maybe this interview will serve as a kick to get things going, to make things a bit better. My impression is that that's the reason why he was kind of doing it. He certainly expressed that he's willing to come and play for Jamaica again, but he just wants things to change. So that's my understanding of what he was saying in this. But yeah, as I say, big up everybody who's joined. Yeah, the channel's really growing. Subscribers are growing. Thousands of people are tuning in every week to look at the latest content from this channel. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Big up the watchers, the listeners, the subscribers. But yeah, do you know what? For now, I'm done talking. Yeah, thanks for listening so far. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As I say, big up all the watchers and the listeners, and big up all the subscribers, new and old. The thing's set. But yeah, so just a bit more background on Leon Bailey. This is all allegedly, just some basic research on the internet. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was born in 1997, so essentially 1 year before the Reggae Boys went to the World Cup. As I say, he plays for right winger for Aston Villa and also for the Jamaica team. But as I said, you can see in this that he's kind of backed away from the Jamaica national team at the moment. He arrived in Europe, 13 years old, played for Genk. As I said, he played in Belgium. Oh, he's a Belgian Young Footballer of the Year, so he was doing very well in Belgium, earned a move to Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen 2017. 4 years later, signed at Aston Villa for £30 million. And he started off for Phoenix All-Star Academy, operated by his adopted father, a gentleman called Craig Butler. Craig arrived in Europe to find a club for his own biological son Carl, and also for Leon. And yeah, he's done pretty well. I must say, Genk, Bayer Leverkusen. I'm going to see if I can give you some stats on the scoring at those particular places in a second. But yeah, Genk, he had some highlights. Bayer Leverkusen, he signed for €20 million at Bayer Leverkusen, and he had also at the time this is in 2017, he did have at the time interest from Manchester United and Chelsea. Then he goes to, as I say, Aston Villa for £30 million. But he scored on the 18th of September for Villa, 3-0 home victory over Everton. He had a few injuries, but, obviously Premiership team. And then he also got a goal in a victory over Manchester United on the 6th of November 2022. And then he also scored... Yes, this is what I was referring to earlier. He scored, and that was the club's first win against Manchester City since 2013. So that was a big deal, really. And he was referring it to it in that podcast as well, that he scored the only goal in a 1-0 victory over Manchester City. So that, that's proper stuff. So he, as I said, he did play for the Jamaica under-23s, 8th of March 2015. And he scored directly from a free kick. So at every level, really. So as I'm going to say later on, it'll be a real shame if, they don't sort, according to him anyway, if they don't sort things out at the Federation for him to forward back to the team, because he's a top player, clearly. He's a top player. But yeah, this is way back in, March 2017 that he would refuse. So this is a long time. What are we now in 2024? Did he forward back? Yeah, he did forward back later, but this is when he started to express his concerns. His high standards and that. 2017, he'd refused call-ups until standards improved. And he was speaking to the apparently German magazine when he said that. And, I'm not going to go into some of this other stuff because it's probably not fact-checkness per se, but... apparently he did have a call-up in 2018, but there's some other stuff around that. People listening will know what I'm talking about. And then he was named for the CONCACAF Gold Cup in 2019. He would accept the call-up and represent Red Boys, and he earned his first Jamaican cap, Honduras, and then he scored his first goal for Jamaica on 6th of September 2019. I'm just going to go back to these statistics. How many goals has he scored for Jamaica? Yeah, obviously, if he's not played much since 2017, he's played some games. It's not going to be a lot, but yeah. So for Jamaica, he's not bad considering he's not had the consistency in the squad, so to speak. But for Jamaica, he scored 5 goals. I need to bring this thing a bit closer. For Jamaica, he scored 5 goals. Under 23, he'd scored 1 in 1. So 30 appearances, Jamaica. 5 goals. Under 23s, he had 1 in 1 goals. As his other teams, Genk. So bearing in mind, he's basically a midfield sort of winger, so he's not a striker, but his ratio is very good actually. Genk, 2015 to 2017, he scored 8 goals in 56 appearances. And at Bayer Leverkusen, 2017 to 2021, what's that, 4-year period, he scored 28 goals in 119 appearances. That is very good for a midfield player. That's it's not quite, it's about nearly a quarter, just under 5th maybe. That's a good ratio for a midfield player. Aston Villa, and he's still doing well, 2021 to present, 13 goals in 78 appearances. And as I said, he got that win over... Manchester City, scored the only goal of Manchester City. So, Leon, look, I'll be quite frank, just, he's got a right to demand certain standards. Obviously, people say, you know, in terms of national pride for, you know, your country, Jamaica, and that, you should make, some people might say you should make some concessions, but you know, he's just trying to do his best. That's how it seems to me. But as I say, I do want people to let me know. But yeah, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, man, this is an interesting one. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Big up all the listeners, big up all the watchers, bruh. Yeah, but yeah, just a bit of background on Jamaica, the Jamaica national team, the Reggae Boys. So yeah, in terms of their first match, I'm going to see if I can get through this quite quickly. So their first match was against Haiti in 1925, but I'm going to bring this right up to date. So they've only, as I said before, they've only had one appearance in the FIFA World Cup. That was in 1998. And they've won the Caribbean Cup 6 times. They competing on a CONCACAF Gold Cup 13 times, finishing twice as runner-ups to Mexico 2015 and United States in 2017. So in their region, they're not doing too badly, to be fair, especially for a relatively small country compared to like places like, well, certainly the United States and Mexico. But as I say, they've just got that one appearance in the World Cup. And, you know, obviously people do judge things on the world stage. But they've had some big wins, 12-0 against the British Virgin Islands, 12-0 against St. Martin. And, sorry, goal. But, they've had a number of different coaches from Carl Brown onwards, and yeah, I mean, I guess why this kind of grabs my attention, I've got reason to be talking about this for all sorts of reasons, but in terms of British influence, they've had players who were kind of born in Britain or had spent time in Britain qualifying to play for Jamaica through heritage. For example, like Paul Hall, if people know, like people like Paul Hall, Fitzroy Simpson, Dion Burt, and Robbie Earle. I think Robbie Earle played in the World Cup, didn't he? From memory, but I have to look back at that. But yeah, just getting to that semi-final, that World Cup level has just been a bit of an issue. So they start well. So for example, in 2006, got a 4-1 win over Haiti, but then towards the end of qualification, they've had some issues. Do you see what I mean? So they also failed to qualify for the 2000 Caribbean Cup as well. So yeah, I guess, you know, from Leon's, Mr. Bailey's point of view, he just think that things need to change, and I think it can happen. You know, it can happen. Getting to the World Cup took a lot, and I think they can do it again. I just think that it's just different coaching, I suppose. But I certainly COVID would have affected things. So since 2020, they've had a friendly against Bermuda, but that was put on hold. They reached the 2021 Gold Cup quarterfinals, but they lost 0-1 to the United States. I didn't even know that. I remember Theodore Whitmore from back in the day, but he was head coach for a while. But yeah, Theodore was a good player, actually. I'll tell you that. Theodore Whitmore, a big-time player there, but I didn't realise he was coaching the team still at one point. But yeah, anyway, that's Jamaica. But yeah, I saw the thing set. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, man. As I say, you know, particularly in this, the views expressed here are not the views of the owners or the participants of this channel. Please do your own research. Everything is alleged. Allegedly, we won't be held liable for anything said herein. But you know, yeah, thank you for listening. Done talking.